All right, guys, it's February. It's still freezing. In fact, last night it got down to like 28 or 29, but during the daytime, we're getting up into the 50s. And this season, I want to do a lot more succession planting. What I've been doing is planting too many things at the same time, and then they all start flowering and going to seed. And I try to wait because I want to collect those seeds. But last year, I just had too many green stalks that had gone to seed, and I needed to use them again. So I had to pull those, and I didn't get to save seeds as much last year. So this year, I want to do a lot more succession planting. I'm going to be using all my green stalks. I've got all these on the GreenStalk patio, but I also have some out front that still have greens and things from the winter time. So I'm going to be using all of these on the GreenStalk patio, plus the ones that I have out front, and also probably my grow bags and my railing planters, so that this way I have a variety of things growing at different times. And that way, y'all, I'm sorry about Tiny. You should know by now he crows every time I do a video. That's just a root thing. So I want to make sure that I have a variety going at all times. And that way, if I want to wait on something to go to seed, I've still got other stuff growing or other areas that I can plant. So that is the plan this time. So I went through my seeds and I'm ready to go. Pops is coming over. He's offered to help, and I'm not going to turn that down. So let's get started. All right, so first things first, we are taking this apart because there's a few things that we need to do before I start planting my seeds. So one of those is to kind of assess what's going on inside the pockets of each of the tiers. And that could be a variety of things, because if you're growing different things in different pockets, what you find may be a little bit different. So what we found was that in some of the pockets, we had more roots than in others. Some of the soil was really soft and fluffy, and some of it we kind of had to work on a little bit more. Now you see I have my Carolina Gold potting mix. That's what I always use whenever I buy potting mix. That's just the one I've had the greatest success with, and I love it. Now, having said that, the last season I did a ton of experimenting and making my own potting mix and whatnot. So I have no idea what's in any of these. What I do know is that the one that is short over there, because I made it short intentionally, it had a lot of the powdery mildew kind of stuff, and so I'm probably going to empty that one out completely. This one that we're working on today is a leaf planter. It's more shallow, and this one had the beans in it, and they did really well. So I'm not afraid to reuse this, and I'm just going to add some of the Carolina Gold if I need to get it up to the fill line. Now, the fill line is there for a purpose. Over time, as it rains and you're watering things, everything settles down and you don't want your plants struggling to get light. Make sure all of these holes in the center are clear of debris and dirt, and also in the watering trays, which I'll show you in a little while, you want to make sure that those are clean as well. Now here I am just double checking to make sure that new roots are not going to have any problems growing down in there. And especially when I start growing carrots and things like that. You know, it's okay to leave some of the roots in your garden when it's in the ground and things like that, and maybe garden beds. But I never leave root systems inside these pockets because there's just limited room, and you want to make sure they have plenty of room to do their thing so they can be nice and healthy. Now, Dad is helping me rinse off the watering trays. You also want to make sure that these do not have dirt and debris inside the holes, or else the patented water system is not going to work. So once you've rinsed those off, go ahead and put those back. You can see I've got all of the pockets filled up to the very top so that when they settle, they're not going to be too deep down in there. My seedlings, my plants will have plenty of sunlight because they'll be close enough to the top. Now here I realized I needed a little bit more potting mix. This wasn't quite all the way up to the top. Again, make sure that you don't get potting soil all the way down in the middle. I also added some potting soil to another one, and I just had Pops put his finger over it so that I could avoid getting dirt down in the center. There's a lot of ways you can do that. Some people put a little cap on the top or put a piece of tape over it, or just put your finger over it. That's fine. All right, so now it's time to stack it all back up, and then I'm going to water it because the water makes it so much heavier. So it's easier if you stack these and then water it. Now, I do not use the watering system when I'm just putting my seeds in for the first time. So what I'm going to do is make sure that all of the potting mix is really damp, and then I'm going to put my seeds right there on the top. I don't need the watering system yet because nothing is down in there. There's no roots to water deeply. So once it grows a little bit, then I'll start using the watering system. Now, before I spray this and get it all wet, Dad's getting up some of the potting mix so that we don't waste it. He's going to sweep it up, and then we can just reuse it in another GreenStalk. Now, you guys may be thinking, what? You guys only did one? Well, this actually takes a while. I'm not the fastest. I'm getting a little bit older, and I'm trying to pace myself. But not only that, I am succession planning, and I want to be really intentional about this. So what I'm going to do is do this one GreenStalk this week, and then probably next week I'll do another one. I already know what I'm going to do next week, and I need the original one cleaned out for that. So that is coming in another video. But for today, I want to get this one done. Now, y'all aren't going to believe this. Just this past summer, we picked up 3 new nozzles or sprayers for each of the hose, one in the front, one by the garage, and one in the back here. And every single one of them is completely broken, cracked, damaged. We tried one, then we tried another, and then we tried the third one, and none of them are any good. I'm thinking it must be because of all the cold temps. I mean, we have been getting colder and colder every winter, and I think the cold just cracked the plastic. Y'all know they don't make things like they used to. In fact, Dad told me while he was sweeping, the broom came apart. So, you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt when you buy something that talks about how good it is. So anyway, I'm just using the hose and watering down all of the potting mix, and then we'll get started. So here's what I'm growing. Golden beets. I'm banking on the fact that sometimes when you grow it yourself, it tastes better. Radish. Don't like radish, but I'm going to try it to see if I like these because I'm growing them. Collards, my Georgia Southern Creole. I absolutely love those. Y'all have heard me talk about those. Dandelion is new. I've never had that before, so we'll see how that goes. Lettuce, Udiculae. I had to look up how to say that. That is new too, so I'm really excited about that one as well. Greens, Chijimisai. I grow that every season. I can never get enough of it. I grow it until it just can't grow anymore. It is my favorite one. And then the Landis Winter has been doing fabulous all winter. It's one of Baker Creek's most cold hardy. Now, this Swiss chard perpetual spinach I got because my daughter grew it. She showed it on her channel, and it looked like it came out really well. Now, the radish and the collards are going to go on the top tier, and that is because on the back they say minimum of 6 to 12 hours a day. And the rest of these packages all say either 4 to 6 or 4 to 8. And sometimes these tiers that are farther down do not get as much sun because they're on this patio and there's wood blocking it or other green stalks blocking it. And so I figure the ones who will take the least amount of sunlight can go farther towards the bottom. Oliver has escaped, so he's hanging out with me again, keeping me company. All right, so here we've got our Georgia Southern Creole collards that I love. These are tiny, tiny little seeds, kind of hard to see. All right, on to the Udiculae lettuce. It's amazing how all these different lettuces can have totally different shapes. So those are kind of a creamy color and they're oblong. All right, now we're on to the beets. Y'all look how big those seeds are. Oh, and by the way, I'm only planting these in a few pockets because I don't even like beets. I'm just going to see if I like these or not. Now we're on to the Chijimisai. Tiny little black seeds, and I am definitely planting a whole tier of these. Maybe filling up the rest of this tier with the beets and the next one. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Hey. Tiny and some of the girls are out helping clean out my grow bags again. You know, they're always so helpful about getting a head start on things around here. All right, now we've got Landis Winter, which I actually love, and it's doing really, really well. It's been going all winter long. That kind of looks similar to the Udiculae. Now on to the Swiss chard perpetual spinach. I hope it grows as well as my daughter's did. That'll be really exciting. These look a lot bigger. I was kind of surprised by that. And y'all, Oliver was just chewing on my onions. And you know, this is the whole reason I had this GreenStalk patio built, was so they could be on the patio, P-E-T, on the other side, which is where all the other ones are hanging out. But like I said, he's figured out how to escape. But, you know, if y'all seen my other videos, the cats were always hanging out in those like they were cat trees. Okay, so the dandelion seeds are super small. And here's a few of the girls and boys. Don't mind me. Hey, Tiny. They are always in and out of this GreenStalk patio. So I moved these over here to get them away from the cats and the dogs. And now I've got chickens that are in them all the time. So I'm going to have to enclose those chickens so that they can't escape. All right, y'all, it is done. And I am so excited to get this first step of the spring garden done. We'll see how long it takes this stuff to germinate. I know we've got nights that are going to be absolutely freezing. We got a lot of storms coming and things like that, you know, so hopefully the seeds don't get washed down inside the GreenStalk too much. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, wishing you guys the best. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you real soon in the next video. Bye-bye.